Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are previewing Week 7 in college football right now, and we're talking with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com, who is off a big bounce-back week in our videos. 2 weeks ago, he had a down week, but then the weeks before that, he had 2 huge weeks in a row in our videos. So 3 out of 4 weeks, Joe Duffy has been killing it in our videos. Joe Duffy, thanks for being back with us.
Thank you, Peter. Let's kick some butt this weekend.
All right, Georgia, Missouri is the first game we're going to discuss. Interesting game. We'll see who you might like here. Before we get to it, give a plug for OffshoreInsiders.com. Are your results with your premium picks roughly similar to your results in our videos? Because if they are, then you must have had a winning week this past week, right?
Yeah, no, the short-term results have certainly been better, but we measure success by the season and by the decade and by the quarter century. By the way, college football game of the year already up for this weekend among a big card. We're still working on it, and yes, 27 years of winning publicly, Peter Loshak, at
Wow.
OffshoreInsiders.com now.
All right, game of the year. So that's like when you decide that the game is a game of the year, that you're like, all right, I'm gonna go out on a limb on this one. So it's a pretty confident pick there, right?
Yeah, no, I have a lot of the metrics are all pointing towards one team. It's not one of these, I do it for marketing purposes. This is a real one.
All right, and which game is that?
It's actually on USC, Arizona.
Wow. USC, Arizona, game of the year at OffshoreInsiders.com. All right, well, Georgia, Missouri is what we're going to discuss now. Missouri's a 3-point home dog, and, Georgia, of course, looking extremely strong this year, a very, very impressive team overall. Missouri's not a slouch themselves. They're off a bye, and they're a home dog. So in that situation, you might think that, a team like Missouri, strong team, off a bye as a home dog going against one of the elite teams in the country, maybe they're the side with value, but Georgia's also off of not a bye, but off a relatively easy win, so it probably didn't take a lot out of them. And I'm just worried that if Georgia dials it up to 10, that they'll be able to get a relatively comfortable win, even on the road, even against Missouri, even off a bye. So I'm actually thinking maybe Georgia -3 might be the side here. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, whether or not this is going to be a premium play, I'm not so sure, but no, we're definitely on opposite sides of this.
All right.
UGA, their secondary has been pretty weak, very vulnerable. Yeah, they're off of a good game to Vanderbilt, but Matty Mock is a very solid quarterback for Missouri, much better than Vanderbilt is. So this is a Georgia team that gave up 271 passing yards and 3 touchdowns to South Carolina. They surrendered 284 yards and 3 touchdowns in that narrow win over Tennessee. Now, granted, Tennessee is a team on the upside. Tennessee is a dangerous team. Still, they showed too many vulnerabilities there. Yeah, I am a little bit, it's ironic that the road team has actually won both of the conference matchups that they've ever had. Remember, Missouri, a newcomer to the SEC, so they've only met twice in the conference. And yeah, Georgia, they do have the best running back in the country far and away in Todd Gurley. But still, Missouri is a very solid team. I've said many times before that sometimes people overanalyze buys. Buys aren't necessarily the big advantage that people do think. However, in the SEC, even in the SEC East, where the West is certainly better, but the SEC East is still pretty solid. I think it helps that they're off of a bye. And as a home dog, no, I just think Georgia's secondary is going to lose this game.
All right, yeah, for the millionth time, we're not on opposite sides here. Those are just my initial thoughts. You're the professional handicapper with the picks. And yeah, I mean, at first glance, you would think that Missouri would be, the side with value here. But it's just we have seen, like, especially in the SEC, a lot of times the elite SEC teams, when they really are faced with a tough situation, like a 20-point road favorite or a small road favorite against another good team, and they really dial it up to their full potential, they're a lot better than they show most of the time on the field. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, and as much as Mark Richt is such a likable person, I'm starting to think that he really is clearly in the category of a guy who's a great recruiter, but not so much of a game coach. And the thing is, they have another new defensive coordinator this year they got from Florida State. But even though they recruit talent, they've got 4- and 5-star talent on defense. It doesn't matter. They can keep changing defense coordinators all the way going back to Coach Willie a few years ago when they wanted him fired, and they've had 2 defensive coordinators since. But the defense never seems to perform up to their talent. And, Georgia seems to be a team that has the ability to come out flat, and this is a pretty tough road game for them.
All right, Joe. Well, Missouri has been a pretty sharp play in earlier weeks this year. Could be again this week. Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. Like in Missouri, +3. Thanks, Joe.
The SBR Network offers free sports picks and game breakdowns. Big money free betting contests year-round, a real-time Vegas-style odds monitoring service, and much more. So come see for yourself. To To stay updated on SBR news and promotions, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and do be sure to subscribe to the Sportsbook Review YouTube channel to catch all our daily sports shows.